Are you actually worth surrendering to as a man? Now, in relationships nowadays, especially in the personal development, spiritual community, masculine, feminine dynamic, we hear these terms like submit and surrender. And I'm going to break down both of them and why they're distinctly different, even though you might use the language interchangeably. When a woman just submits, this can be her just following you kind of blindly. I see guys that date women half their age that will just like do what they say. There's not a lot of emotional, spiritual, intellectual growth. It's just, hey, this girl will kind of take orders from me. I'm like almost like her dad. Guys won't say that, but it's true, especially when the guy's, 44 and the girl's half their age or whatever. And with surrender is super different. And whether you're in a relationship or you just came out of one, or maybe you're about to come out of one soon, you can understand the differences and understand, were you able to hold the space and provide what you wanted to provide? And that can be a difficult question to look at with yourself. Like, hey, I wanted to show up this way and I couldn't, or I did for the first 6 months, and then, my mask dropped. I wanted to be this certain way for her, but that was an act. I was still becoming that guy. I wasn't that guy. So we covered submission. Surrender, it sounds similar, but it's very, very different. Look, even that bell in the background agrees. With surrender, it's her trusting your leadership, which starts with yourself, enough that she goes, okay, this guy does the thing he says he's gonna do. He's also generally like well-rounded. Like if he's just crushing it in business and money and every other area is a mess, she's not gonna feel safe enough to let go, meaning she's not gonna really trust you to lead the way. You could switch that and you could go, God, this guy is a personal trainer. He doesn't have many clients, but he's in great shape. But when it comes to money, when it comes to his mental health, his spiritual health, he's pretty messy, but he looks great. That could be enough to attract a woman, but that's not sustainable to build something. So that you actually are a well-rounded guy. They go, wow, this guy led himself to know where he's going in different areas of life. And I feel safe enough to follow that lead. That's very different than this kind of blind submitting. One thing that can be really, really painful for a guy, whether he's in it, realizing it now, or about to realize it soon, is realizing she couldn't trust your direction. Or maybe it's going on right now and she can't trust your direction. You're showing up too inconsistent with what you say and do that she can't feel safe with you. And how do I know? I've been that guy in the past, and I didn't think sometimes I wasn't even aware of what I'm telling you now, many years ago. And after that, it happened where I was somewhat aware, and I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to provide so much for a woman, and I didn't have the capacity. I thought I did. I had more than I ever had, but I wasn't integrated within myself. I was decent, but it wasn't sustainable, so it wasn't so decent. And when you look at your past relationships or the one you're in, and you can see, fuck, bro, I'm not showing up in a way where she can surrender. And it's easy to want to blame the woman. Well, no, I read, some book. I read The Way of the Superior Man, and you should just trust my lead. There's a level where you have to earn that. And women are different creatures. They don't care what you did really great for a month. Women want consistency. Consistency equals safety. You might want to write that down. And also, how great your track record was in the past doesn't matter if you're screwing up right now. Men don't see it the same way. And as a guy, like I said, it can be super painful to realize, like, bro, I'm really not leading myself like I thought I was. Like, fuck, like I've done all this stuff. It can be frustrating. Excuse me. However, like the old corny but true saying goes, the truth will set you free. So to see where you're at, and maybe you're not in a relationship, but you can go, man, 10 years ago, I had no idea about this surrender business. I just thought, I'm the man, I make more money, submit to me. If that works, that's probably a very bad sign. It could work. It doesn't work for depth, for fulfillment, for true love, for building something great for decades. But there's a lot of women that if you have a bunch of money or whatever, they'll submit. But to be in such a place with yourself, and more than that, just with yourself, it's surrendering, knowing God, the universe, the divine, whatever you want to call it, put you on planet Earth to do something. And that you're honoring that. Even when you go, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm getting home after work and, investing a few hours and building content online or building this business or whatever, and going, my heart's saying this and I'm scared to quit. But a deeper part of you knows that it's true. When she knows you're trusting in something bigger and you surrender to that and you're showing up for you and what you do and what you say matches, she can surrender. If that hasn't happened, it could happen for a bit where it seems like she's surrendering. And also, guys, like, to understand the female perspective, most of us just don't. It's a more complex operating system. It's like if a guy's, to operate a guy, it's like 3 buttons, and a woman, it's like 368, and then the buttons change colors and locations like that. The female operating system is that different. As a guy, for you to have an understanding of the female operating system, to know there's so many reasons why a woman needs to put up walls, to put up her defenses. There's certain realities where you hear them, they're kind of uncomfortable to hear, but they're true. A guy can really be in his masculine alone. He doesn't need a partnership. He needs to challenge himself or go through an initiation. And I don't mean like an initiation when you're 15 years old, even though that could be a part of it. But to go, I started this business. Man, this was hard. I built it to this. I had this breakup and it crushed me. And here's where I am 6 months later. Someone got a disease or they're overweight and they go, hey, I lost the weight. I gained the muscle. I healed myself. These initiations put us deeper. It's not a yes or no thing. Into a masculine frame. More and more as time goes on, I believe it's virtually impossible for a woman to truly be in her feminine while she's on her own. Unless she has a magnificent, incredible, and predominantly has a decent amount of money, her dad. Like, he's emotionally, mentally, spiritually balanced, and no matter what, if things go to shit, he can take care of her financially. If she has that, she can totally flow, or flow pretty well. So as guys, when we look at a woman, it's like, well, she should be in her feminine, or I make X amount of dollars, so she should just let go. It's not that simple. And I think very few of us have the balls, have the heart, have the courage to actually understand what that means from a woman's perspective. You don't need to understand it all perfectly, but to have enough of an understanding to go, wow, there's something magnificent here in women that 99% of men will never experience. I believe right now, 99% of men don't experience. They see glimpses of it. They have a season of it. So understanding her perspective, understanding what she's had to overcome to protect herself, to be safe, to have things we don't have, like, not in the same way. Like, for us as a guy, if you're 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and you walk to your car late at night, you don't think about being attacked or sexually abused or something happens to you. So in a lot of the personal development, new age stuff, spirituality, go, well, she should just trust my direction. She should just trust my lead. I made this money or whatever. It's not quite that simple. And also, if where we're going as a man is just connected to hit the target, hit the target, hit the target, which almost all of us have fallen into at times, and it's not looking at something bigger, call it, again, your heart, call it God, call it the universe, we're going to fall short. So can she truly trust you to lead? Can she let go? Which is not a black and white process, gentlemen. It's going, oh, okay, oh, wow. Oh, I was just talking with a female friend a few days ago about this. She's like, oh, I'm letting go more and more. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I could, okay. I've always been on my own. And a more important question I'll leave you with, do you trust yourself enough that you would follow you? If you were looking at your performance as an observer, not as you, would you go, I'd go into battle with that guy? Do you trust yourself enough? Because if we don't as an individual, it's impossible for her to.